just accepting at this point that my hair will always have flyaways in these videos, so here we go. Take. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Vinci and welcome back to my channel to yet again another video nobody asked for, but you know what? It is currently November, my dudes, which means 'tis the season to be ranking Taylor Swift albums because all of them came out within like a 2-week period of each other. So last time we ranked Red, celebrating its 8th birthday, because thank you very much Red for your cultural impact. I am still shook to this day. Today I thought, you know, let's do another ranking for another critically underrated album that literally got no nominations when it should have been right up there in the pop categories. Today, we are ranking Reputation. I am so excited for this album because I actually really liked it. A lot of people didn't because they wanted her to just go back to her country roots, but you know what? If you keep going back to the past, you'll never grow. So we're gonna rank Reputation, and I'm gonna pick my favorite lyric from each song. Gonna sing it again, hence the tiny microphone, which I feel is much more appropriate than my normal standard microphone. I have set up the tiers already using lyrics from another black and white covered album, Folklore. So let's just run through them real quick, shall we? Bottom tier for this ranking is called A Dwindling Mercurial High from Illicit Affairs, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You know, it's a dwindling mercurial high. Is it a good song? Yeah, probably. But does it have real substance? Does it have a real oof factor? Maybe not. Next up from that, If I Showed Up at Your Party from Betty, which is like the songs that when you hear it, I guess I'll vibe to it. Am I going to love you? Am I going to want you? Maybe. We'll see. Depends on the mood. Next step up, Shining Just For You, which is from Mirrorball, which is low-key quite depressing because it's about changing every aspect of yourself. But we're not here to do analysis on Folklore, we're here to rank Reputation. So Shining Just For You is basically, I guess, it's just my personal favorites, or it's like specific people's kind of favorites. So they're good songs, maybe not for everyone, but still a good song. Second from the top, we have A Marvelous Time from The Last Great American Dynasty, which is basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It was a marvelous time. It was the best. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We'll get to that. But yeah, a marvelous time regardless. And of course, we have the top category, the absolutely indisputable best songs from Reputation, with the tier One Single Thread of Gold from Invisible String. And I think that's just like a really wholesome line. So I put that as the top tier. There we have it, the tiers. I'm going to order these songs again in track listing so no one can say that I'm biased, even though, once again, maybe she is. I'm going to sing my favorite line from each song, and we're going to get a little bit too personal, but you know, that's what the internet is for. Let's just get right into it. This is Rep Ranked. I'm going to rank Rep. Here we go. All right, first up we have Ready For It. When I first heard it, was I ready for it? The answer is no, because frankly, I didn't like it when I first heard it. Maybe it is If I Showed Up at Your Party. Yeah, I reckon it's If I Showed Up at Your Party. I don't think that it's the best of songs on the album, but you know, when you bop to it, you bop to it. If I showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? I guess. So Ready For It is If I Showed Up at Your Party. My favorite lyric from Ready For It? Ooh, second verse. Again, second verse rules. Just, you know, this is a second verse rights channel. But second verse in Ready For It, when it references, it's like self-referential to herself, Taylor Swift. It's the line where it goes, he can be my jailer, Burton to this tailor. Every lover known in comparison is a failure. I don't know, that just hits different to me. That's my favorite because it's like, oh, she broke the fourth wall like that. I love that. So Ready For It, If I Showed Up at Your Party. Track 2, we have Endgame. Look, I know I bagged the absolute daylights out of Everything Has Changed on Red Ranked because it was a collaboration with Ed Sheeran, but you know, Endgame made some points. I reckon it's Shining Just For You though, because every time I hear Endgame, it just gets me like, it gets me vibing. It gets me going. And I know that like the inclusion of like, I guess more rap-like elements, more trap-like elements in the song isn't everyone's cup of tea. So Shining Just For You seems like a fitting category for Endgame. My favorite line from Endgame is actually probably Taylor's verse. Surprise, surprise. But it's the lines where it's like, I hit you like bang, we tried to forget it but we just couldn't, and I bury hatchets but I keep maps of where I put them. Because it's like a super creative way of saying I forgive but I'll never forget. That's my favorite line, I reckon. Endgame, she is shining just for you. Track 3, we have I did something bad, why does it feel so good? Sorry, nobody asked for that. I love this song. Honestly, the pizzicato at the beginning of the arrangement, ooh, her mind, that really set the tone, set that edgy kind of vibe, and I love it. I reckon I did something bad. Look, if you've had the privilege of seeing I Did Something Bad live, count your blessings, because I did something bad. That is a life-changing experience live. So I did something bad. I reckon it's a marvelous time, because it fits in with the full lyric. It fits in with like a marvelous time ruining everything. I did something bad, and you know what? I had a marvelous time doing it. The entirety of verse 2 is my favorite line. Verse 2 writes, okay? Verse 2 just hits. But here we go. Here it is. I never trust a playboy, but they love me. So I fly them all around the world and I let them think they saved me. They never see it coming, what I do next. This is how the world works. You gotta leave before you get left. The way that she made something so vulnerable seem so cynical at the same time. Ooh, I love that. That's talent. If you want to come out on top, you gotta leave before you get left. That's just how the world works. Also the part before it where it's like, I let them think they saved me. Girl power. You don't need anyone to save you. That is, oh my God, her mind. You don't need someone to save you. You don't need Superman. You don't need a hero to sweep in and save the day, because you can save yourself. But you know, if they think that they're doing that for you, if they think that they're the good guy, let them have it. Just leave before you get left and come out on top. I did something bad. She's a marvelous time. Next up, we have Don't Blame Me. Oh my God, I love that she put, like, in the order that this album went in, I love that she put the darkest themes all together. You know what? I reckon Don't Blame Me is also a marvelous time. I reckon it's a marvelous time, because did you guys hear her in that post-chorus? Like, after the bridge? My God, that high note. When you hear that high note live, again, if you've had the privilege of seeing I Did Something Bad or Don't Blame Me live, count your blessings. Those are religious experiences. I can't, like... The entire message of that song, Don't Blame Me, Love Made Me Crazy, she was right. Was she wrong? No, she wasn't. She was correct. And you know what? I had a marvelous time going absolutely batshit. Here's a deviation though. For once, my favorite line is not in verse 2. Shocker, I know. But it's actually in the pre-chorus where it's like, for you I would fall from grace just to touch your face. If you walk away, I'd beg you on my knees to stay. Because I love that it's a callback to State of Grace. It's probably not, but to me it is. The absolute descent into madness that love sends you in. Captured in one pre-chorus, and that's iconic activity. So Don't Blame Me, she's a marvelous time too. I love that for her. Next up, we have track 5, Miss Delicate. Delicate has to be one single thread of gold, right? Is that like really typical behavior? Probably, but you know, Delicate hits different for me, I'm not gonna lie. But like personal biases aside, I still think that it's one single thread of gold worthy. But my favorite line or my favorite lyric from it is just, I think it might actually just be the opening lines, because it's so vulnerable, it's so delicate. This ain't for the best, my reputation's never been worse, so he must like me for me. Because I think everyone gets that too. I think everyone's been in that position where it's like, maybe it's not that your reputation's crumbling, maybe it's not that your reputation's like just burning in hell. There's always that feeling of inadequacy when you have a crush or when you think that someone's vibing with you and you just feel that like, am I really, do they really see me like that? Do they really like me for who I am? Or do they just like the version of me that I projected? That feeling never really goes away. I mean, until you meet someone, until you meet the one, that feeling really never goes away. That's my favorite line from it. Just the pure vulnerability and relatability. So delicate. One single thread of gold. Next, we have track 6. Look What You Made Me Do. Just based purely on controversy over this song, I reckon it's Shining Just For You. Because Look What You Made Me Do is my cup of tea. Points have been made where it's like, no one made you do anything. You do all of these things by your own volition, which is like fair enough, but you know, there's something called triggers. As a whole, I feel like that song's a very clever way of spinning that whole narrative that the media and people have like projected onto Taylor, where it's just like she's a little girl who's gone out of her mind, who's like just behaving immaturely because some people said some bad things about her. It's basically like a blank space of reputation. It fits nicely in Shining Just For You because it's a bit of an acquired taste. What's my favorite line from Look What You Made Me Do? Does it count as verse 2 or does it count as pre-chorus? Either way, it's the line where it's like, the world moves on another day, another drama, but not for me, all I think about is karma. And then the world moves on, but one thing's for sure. Baby, I got mine, but you'll all get yours. Because you know what? Karma is a B word. Despite how spiteful it is, despite how much people love to bag on her, saying that it's like an immature move. Say what you want. All of that will come back and bite you regardless, because karma is a bitch. So yeah, Look What You Made Me Do, Shining Just For You. Not everyone's cup of tea, but personally, she's a vibe. She's a bop. And what goes around comes around. Next track we have So It Goes. This one, listen, I can't tell if people slept on this song or if it's just not a vibe. Like when it first came out, I really, frankly, did not vibe with it whatsoever. To this day, I still don't quite vibe with it, so I'm sorry, So It Goes, but you're a dwindling mercurial high. Whenever I think of the other songs on this album, they evoke some sort of emotion, some sort of visceral memory, some sort of relatable element to it. So It Goes, I just remember the name, and that's all it does for me. So I'm sorry, it's a dwindling mercurial high. Moving on, we have next up Gorgeous. Oh my god, I love Gorgeous. Gorgeous, I reckon she's a marvelous time. I don't think she's a single thread of gold worthy. I have no reason for that. I just feel like Gorgeous fits better in a marvelous time because it's like, it's such a fun time. It's just such a bop. And every time I have a crush, this is what I play. So Gorgeous, my favorite line. It's probably the bridge. Does it count as a bridge or is it a hook? I don't know. I don't know, but it's the part where it's like, you make me so happy, it turns back to sad. There's nothing I hate more than what I can't have. I mean, everyone's been there, haven't we? We've all been there. But also, my favorite line is the opening lines from each verse. I think specifically verse 2, where it's like, you should take it as a compliment that I'm talking to everyone here but you. It's just me activity. It's just too relatable because that's exactly what I do when I have a crush. Like, did Taylor swire on me when I had a crush earlier this year? Because that's exactly the kind of crap that I pulled. I'm not saying it's the best way to pursue a crush, though it did work, but when I have a crush on someone, I will go to lengths to avoid you in person. Like, I will interact with you on social media. I will hit you up in the DMs. But if we are in a group setting together, if we are talking face to face, catch me not even looking in your direction because I just can't. I can't do it. The awkwardness kicks in and she's just like, fight, flight, freeze. She freezes. So verse 2, she's got to be my favorite just because it's too relatable. And you know what? Every time you have a crush, it is a fun time. Even though it comes with like the painstaking ache of pining, it's still a marvelous time. And you know what? Gorgeous encapsulates that pretty damn well. So Gorgeous, a marvelous time. All right, next up we have, oh my god, the best track. Do I even need to say it? Getaway Car. Sweetie, she is a single thread of gold, baby. I love Getaway Car with my every single fiber of my being. Dedicated to Getaway Car. Getaway Car is the ultimate Taylor song in my opinion. She deserved a music video. She deserved to be a single. She deserved so much more than what she got. But you know what? I'm glad that she's finally getting the recognition she deserves in popular culture. There are many reasons to love Getaway Car. There are many reasons to put it in one single thread of gold. One of them is just because I know who it's about and I know exactly like it just played out in the song exactly the way that I envisioned it actually playing out in real life. That's not to bag anyone for it. That's not to say that anyone's particularly a bad guy in the situation. It's just to say that I understand the cultural significance and I love it all the more for it. So for people who don't know, Getaway Car is about Tom Hiddleston. It is about the 3-month period that they dated, and everyone thought it was a publicity stunt, and you know, Getaway Car low-key confirmed that. I'm not gonna lie, Getaway Car low-key just confirmed everything that the skeptics were saying. Again, this is not to take sides. This is not to pit anyone against each other. I just love it because I understand the cultural relevance. And also, not to flex, but I went to the Reputation tour dressed in costume in Taylor's Met Gala outfit. The night that she met Tom, or allegedly met Tom Hiddleston, for no reason whatsoever. I just thought it was a cool outfit, and I thought it would be a fun time to get dressed up in it. I'll probably insert a picture somewhere just to show off, just to flex. But I made that dress myself, so let's just get that clear. Yeah, I went to the Reputation tour in that dress, and during this song, because I was so close to the front, Taylor looked at me in the audience. Like, I know she looked at me. She made eye contact with me in the first verse, and she was just like, I see you, sweetie. I have footage of it, but it's shaky as hell, so I don't think anyone would believe me if I told them that Taylor was looking at me. It's kind of like when someone goes into the forest, takes a video of like a huge rock, and then calls him Bigfoot. But I was there. I remember it all too well. So Getaway Car, she has significance to me. Personal, cultural, what have you. She's one single thread of gold. Shockingly enough, my favorite line is probably not verse 2, but actually verse 1, or the second part of verse 1, where it's like, the ties were black, the lies were white, in shades of grey and candlelight, I wanted to leave him. I needed a reason. Because that really sets the tone of it, doesn't it? That really just says everything you need to say. Moral of the story, don't use someone as a getaway car. Don't use someone to get over someone else. It's not fair to either party. It's not fair to anyone, least of all yourself. And karma, baby. Karma exists. Again, not to bag on anyone, but Getaway Car, if that's the creative output of that, I'm not mad at it. It's still my favorite Taylor song to this day. So, Getaway Car, she's one single thread of gold. Next up, we have King of My Heart. Look, when I first heard the title, I was like, damn, I know exactly who this is about. This is about Joe. And I was low-key ready to bop to it. And you know what? She delivered. King of My Heart, she's a marvelous time. I love King of My Heart. My favorite line from it, because it has personal significance. Second verse, where it's like, late in the night, the city's asleep, your love is a secret, I'm hoping, dreaming, dying to keep. Because it's just like the first beginning. It's like, this is gonna sound so bad. It's like a pregnancy. It's like the first trimester is always so risky, so you don't tell anyone about it. And that's the same vibe for a relationship, or like a fresh relationship. So yeah, does it have personal significance? Yes. But also it's just that vulnerability that comes with dating someone new. So yeah, King of My Heart, she's a marvelous time. Next up, we have Dancing with Our Hands Tied. This one, just straight up, a marvelous time. I'm sorry, the majority of these songs are going in a marvelous time. This is like a very skewed table, but you know, we're doing it. It's here. This is what it is now. And I love the beat of it too. Like the arrangement of it, it kind of mirrors the heartbeat that you would have with like an anxious feeling, which I really appreciate. I hope it was intentional, but I like that it does kind of amp up the anxiety that's reflected in the lyrics with that arrangement. Sorry, that got really technical, but you know, here we are. Favorite lyric, I reckon, just the entire pre-chorus. Again, because personal significance, but also vulnerability. I'm starting to realize that vulnerability is the key to being my favorite lyric. So artists, pay attention. There's your market. And it's also really hard to sing, so I'm sorry in advance. But it's the part where it goes, I could have spent forever with your hands in my pockets. Picture of your face in an invisible locket. You said there was nothing, the world that could stop it. I had a bad feeling. Just vulnerability. I had a bad feeling. But you know, there was nothing in the world that could stop it. You can't stop feelings. It is what it is. And we were dancing with our hands tied, which is a marvelous time. Next up, we have Dress. Dress feels much more delicate than delicate in a way. I think it's just that veil of secrecy again. Like the echoing of the veil of secrecy throughout this album. It's one of the things that make it such a good album because that element of it makes it feel so much more high stakes. It makes it feel so much more open and vulnerable. Anyways, Dress. I reckon Shining Just For You. It's kind of that element of secrecy again. You will only understand it if you have been privy to it, so it's specifically just for you. It's shining just for you, just for the audiences that can actually relate to it. Honestly, everything about this song is so, like, it's so secretive that I love the entire thing about it. I want to say that the entire song is my favorite. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it to a single thread of gold. Yeah, you know what? She deserved to be a single thread of gold. I don't know what I was thinking. Why would I put you in Shining Just For You? Dress, she's a single thread of gold. So, favorite lyric, the entire song. Again, verse 2, it's that element of like, you can't avoid feelings. As much as you want to avoid the person, as much as you want to avoid feeling like awkward and anxious around your crush, like in Gorgeous, you can't avoid it. Dancing with Our Hands Tied and Dress kind of just confirms that and reiterates that idea that if you have feelings, you can't stop them. It just happens. Like, there's no way to avoid it. And verse 2 in Dress addresses that, where it's like, inescapable, I'm not even gonna try. And if I get burned, at least we were electrified. That's my favorite line for 2 reasons. A, feel your damn feelings, people. They're inescapable. You can't avoid them. You're gonna feel them eventually, so you may as well enjoy them. B, you've been burned before. So what if it happens again? If you never try, you'll never know. And to me personally, the potential reward is worth the risk in any situation. So yeah, that's my favorite line. It's much more deep and meaningful line than I think it was intended to be. But yeah, that's how I read it. That's how I absorbed it. But there she is, Dress, made with a single thread of gold. All right, we are on to the final 3 now. We have track lucky number 13, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. Honestly, this one, she's a real party. This is why we can't have nice things. If I showed up at your party, I think. Because you have to kind of be in a specific mood for it. Because if you're not feeling vengeful, if you're not feeling spiteful, it has much more effect when you're in that specific mood. So if I showed up at your party, this is why we can't have nice things. It's about a party anyway, so it fits nicely in that category. Favorite line from that song, or lines, is definitely the bridge, where it's like, here's a toast to my real friends. They don't care about that he said, she said. It's just like, you know, real friends. Real friends don't give a damn. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So this is why we can't have nice things. If I showed up at your party, I would love you, I would want you, but depends on my vibe. Here we go, we're mellowing out now. Oh my god, we're mellowing out and we're getting emotional with Call It What You Want. Again, personal significance. It's kind of crazy to me how much I relate to all of these albums. Call It What You Want, I think, is a single thread of gold. Yeah. It's like Delicate's evolved sibling. We've gotten past the fear that's expressed in Delicate, and we're just straight up like taking that chance, taking that leap of faith, risking it for the biscuit, and you know what, saying screw it, call it what you want, see if I care. I have my love, I have myself, that's all I need, call it what you want. And I love that for her. I love that for this album. I love that for Taylor. I love that for this song. I love that for the message of this song. So call it what you want. She's one single thread of gold. My favorite line from Call It What You Want is always, without fail, always going to be the second part of verse 2, where it's like, and I know I make the same mistakes every time bridges burn. I never learn, at least I did one thing right. I did one thing right. It's just vulnerability at its peak, and I love it because it's like, yeah, I made some mistakes in the past. I'll cop that. But at least I got this right. At least I did this right. At least I'm trying. That's always going to be my favorite line from Call It What You Want. Because, not to get all deep and meaningful, but there is no such thing as the right thing to do, but at least I did what was right for me. At least I did what was right by the situation, and at least I did what I could. Call it what you want. She's one single thread of gold. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And finally, we have New Year's Day, which is just wholesome as all hell, and I'm just like emotional about it, but at the same time, I gotta be specific mood for it, and I reckon it's Shining Just For You, because it is just a little bit personal. If you relate to it, you relate to it. If you don't, or if you don't vibe to it, then I guess check out the rest of the album, because there's like 14 other songs for you there. But New Year's Day, Shining Just For You. Even though a lot of people might not vibe to it because it is such a deviation from the theme of the album, it's easily one of the most romantic songs that Taylor's ever written. This is so difficult. Why is this so difficult to find a favorite line in this song? There's just different like facets of vulnerability expressed in this song that I really, really, really appreciate. I think my favorite line from it, there's a few of them. It's like the part in the chorus where it's like, I stay when it's hard or it's wrong and we're making mistakes. I want your midnights. Like, just that. It's not the big moments that make a relationship worth it. It's the little things. It's the midnights. It's the little moments. It's the in-betweens. And then there's the other parts in it where it's like, I'll be there if you're the toast of the town, babe. Or if you strike out and you're crawling home. It's the support system. It's the effort that goes into it. It's the in-between moments that people don't get to see. That's the stuff that makes a relationship worth it, and she captures all of that in this one song, and that's kind of why it's one of her most romantic songs written to date. And I can't really pick one single line that I love from it the most because of that reason, because it is just such a romantic work. New Year's Day, Shining Just For You, because it's such a personal experience, I think. And on that note, that is Reputation Ranked. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. Happy 3rd birthday to Reputation. You're a killer of an album. And you know, I think this is an improvement. Like, we only have one song in the bottom tier here. So that's growth. I know this is probably going to be like another half-hour long video. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope we didn't get too deep and meaningful today and too personal. But you know, it is what it is. I hope you're staying safe. Hope you're staying healthy. Happy 3rd birthday, Reputation. You did a number on me. That's for sure. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until next time.